Hello? Dear Scorpio, I want to speak to you slowly and clearly, without the usual decoration, because what I need to tell you is not about predictions or passing events. It is about a moment that is coming, one that will touch you on the deepest level. And I want you to hear it as if it were whispered directly into your soul. Imagine yourself standing at the end of September, not as if it were just another date on the calendar, but as if it were a threshold, a heavy door that swings open and reveals only two narrow paths. You will recognize them because they are not vague or abstract. They are connected to your life in the most personal way. Each path is tied to someone or something that you deeply love, something that has shaped you, something you never imagined you would have to give up. And yet, you will not be able to carry both with you. For you, Scorpio, this choice will not feel like choosing between something you love and something you dislike. That would be easier. It will feel like being asked to choose between two vital organs, both of which you need, both of which are part of your identity. One is linked to the life you have worked so hard to build, the bonds you have kept, the responsibilities you have carried, the versions of yourself you have carefully crafted so that others could lean on you. The other is tied to who you are when no one else is watching, the truth of your spirit, the calling that has been whispering in your dreams and waiting for you to stop pretending that you can live divided forever. Scorpio, I know you resist ultimatums. You are resourceful. You search for hidden doors. You find solutions where others see only walls. But the last day of September will not be the kind of moment that allows you to negotiate, delay, or compromise. It will not let you keep fragments of both lives. It will place you in a position where one path must be chosen and the other must be released forever. And the pain is not only in the sacrifice itself. The pain is in knowing that the path you do not take is not a meaningless road. It is something you value, something you love, something that feels like home. You will feel this tension rising before the date arrives. Already, you may sense the pull of opposites. The way your loyalties and your truth are colliding. Perhaps you have been trying to stretch yourself to be everything for everyone, to keep both the outer version of your life and the inner one alive at the same time. But the deeper truth is that your spirit cannot keep splitting in two directions without breaking. The universe is not punishing you by forcing this choice. It is bringing you to a point where your fragmentation must end, where you must gather all your energy and choose the direction that will carry your true essence forward. For Scorpio born in late October, this decision may manifest as a conflict between a relationship you feel bound to and a need to answer a personal calling that grows louder every day. For those born in early November, it may appear as a choice between the material stability you have achieved and the passion that demands risk. The kind of risk that shakes the foundations of your current life. And for those born closer to mid-November, the decision may be even more internal. A confrontation between the role everyone expects you to play and the hidden version of yourself that has always waited in the shadows, asking when you will finally give it the light it deserves. The cruel part, Scorpio, is that both sides feel like truth. Both sides are part of you. And when you stand at that crossroads, you will have to kill one future with your own hands so that the other can live. That is why it will feel like the hardest choice of your life, because it will not be about right versus wrong. It will be about love versus love, loyalty versus authenticity, security versus passion, responsibility versus freedom. And no matter which way you turn, a part of you will mourn. I will not tell you which path to choose, because that is not my place. And because the lesson here is not about making the correct choice, the lesson is about choosing with full awareness and responsibility. It is about having the courage to end the paralysis of indecision. You may carry scars from past choices, moments when you took the safe road and later wondered about the one you abandoned, or moments when you followed your heart and paid a price that still aches. That pain makes you human. It is not weakness. It is evidence that you have lived, that you have loved, that you have carried the weight of being real. This time will be no different. You will not escape the pain of sacrifice, but you will also discover a strange freedom when the decision is made. You will no longer be torn between versions of yourself. You will no longer be drained by the constant effort to maintain two lives. You will stand in one truth, fully aligned, even if it costs you more than you thought you could bear. In that alignment, your power will return to you. Your energy will no longer leak into contradictions. Your heart will no longer be divided, and in the space that opens up, new strength, new clarity, and new love will come. So, Scorpio, as the last day of September approaches, pay attention to what pulls at your spirit in quiet moments. Notice the dreams that linger, the people who appear in your thoughts without invitation, the places where your energy feels alive and the places where it drains away. These are the clues that will guide you when the crossroads arrives. Do not look outside for answers. Listen to advice. But remember that no one else will carry the weight of this decision but you. And do not hide from your emotions. Allow yourself to feel the fear, the sadness, the longing, the hope. They will not weaken you. They will help you see what each path truly means. When the day comes, Scorpio, and you are forced to say yes to one life and goodbye to another, remember that this is not cruelty. This is the moment that will reveal who you truly are. Not in theory, but in action. You will discover what you value more than anything else. You will learn that growth always demands a death and a rebirth. And though the choice will scar you, it will also refine you. It will burn away the false layers and leave only the gold of your real nature. Do not fear the mourning that follows. Allow yourself to grieve the life you did not live. The self you did not become. That grief will not diminish you. It will cleanse you. And after it passes, what remains will be stronger, clearer, more whole than ever before. Scorpio, the hardest choice of your life is not here to break you. It is here to set you free. It is here to end the contradiction you have carried for too long and to lead you into the life you were meant to live. Choose with courage. Choose with presence. And then walk forward knowing that, no matter how much it costs, you are brave enough to define yourself by truth rather than fear. The cruelty of this moment lies in its absolute demand. There will be no room for compromise. No quiet escape, where you can hold on to both sides of the life you have been balancing. What comes at the end of September will not politely ask you to reflect. It will press you into a corner where only one identity can survive, and the other must be left behind. This is not about abandoning a hobby or changing a routine. It is about severing a part of yourself that has carried weight and meaning for years, knowing that whichever way you turn, the path you refuse will collapse behind you and never open again. For Scorpio, this moment arrives with a depth that cuts to the very heart of your nature. You are not afraid of endings. You live through cycles of death and rebirth more intensely than any other sign. Yet even for you, the pain of choosing between two loves, two truths, two pieces of your own identity, feels unbearable. One path will represent security, belonging, and recognition. The other will represent authenticity, transformation, and freedom. You cannot carry both. And that is why this choice is not only cruel but also sacred, because it asks you to define with absolute clarity the person you want to become. You may feel the weight of loyalty pulling you toward one side, the faces of those who depend on you, the structures you have kept alive, the sense of responsibility that whispers you cannot walk away. And at the same time, there is the insistent call of your deeper self, the hidden truth that has been quietly growing in your private hours, the longing to finally live without compromise, to breathe as one whole being instead of fragmenting into different versions for different people. Both are valid, both are real, and both contain love, but only one can survive the moment that is coming. This is not a decision you can reason your way out of. You may list the advantages and disadvantages. You may seek counsel. You may try to calculate which option will hurt less. None of that will bring relief, because the truth is that there is no painless outcome. One choice will cost you security and connection. The other will cost you freedom and authenticity. And no matter what you decide, you will mourn the life you did not choose. The scar will remain. And that is why this moment carries such weight. It will mark you for the rest of your life. The lesson within the cruelty is that transformation always requires sacrifice. Growth is never free, and rebirth cannot happen without death. You cannot keep trying to weave together two contradictory lives without slowly destroying yourself in the process. By forcing you to choose, life is not punishing you. It is breaking apart the illusion that you can forever live split in two directions. The ending you resist is also the doorway you have been waiting for. And the pain you will feel is the price of integrity. When the choice is made, you will step forward carrying both loss and freedom. There will be grief for the part of you that no longer walks with you. But there will also be relief that the fragmentation is over. You will no longer live in the exhausting tension of maintaining opposing realities. You will know who you are, not just in words, but in action. Because you will have proven it with sacrifice. And though you may still wake at night wondering what might have been if you had chosen differently, you will also feel the strange strength that only comes when you stop running from yourself. This is the deeper truth. There is no right answer. No perfect outcome. Only the choice you can stand behind with your whole being. What defines you is not which path you pick, but the courage to step into it fully, to honor it with your entire presence, and to accept the losses as part of your transformation. That is what life is asking of you now, not perfection, but commitment. And in that commitment, Scorpio, you will discover the raw essence of your power, the kind that only awakens when nothing is left to hide behind. For Scorpio, the division of this crossroads also reveals itself differently depending on when you were born. Because although you all carry the same sign, the lessons of timing carve different scars and blessings into your path. Those born in the earliest days of Scorpio, from October 23rd to November 1st, will find that the choice is not simply about lifestyle or career, but about the bonds of intimacy that have defined your heart. You may be confronted with a relationship that feels like home, one that has become part of your very identity. And yet at the same time, you will feel the insistent tug of a personal calling that refuses to stay buried in silence. You will be asked whether the depth of connection you hold with another soul can outweigh the depth of connection you are meant to have with yourself. The cruelty here is that both are valid forms of love. Both are essential parts of who you are. But only one can breathe fully in the space your life can provide. To choose the relationship may mean turning away from your own inner voice, and to choose the calling may mean breaking the heart of someone who has trusted you with theirs. Either way, a part of you will bleed. Because this choice is not about preference, it is about identity. And it will brand you with its memory for the rest of your days. For those born between November 2nd and November 12th, the form of the choice will arrive dressed in more material clothing. But the heart of it will be no less piercing. You may be asked to look directly at the structures of security you have built, the financial stability, the status, the recognition, and the routines that make you feel safe, and then to measure those against the passion that has been pressing against the walls of your chest, the passion that would require you to risk everything you thought you could not live without. The safety you have fought for may feel impossible to release, and yet the fire inside you knows that continuing without that risk is to slowly suffocate. This is the cruelty of your particular crossroads. That the very things which once represented triumph now stand as chains, keeping you from stepping into the life that could bring your soul alive. You may ask yourself whether passion is worth the fall, whether risk is worth the collapse of stability, and the answer will not come from logic. It will come from the truth of what makes you feel most alive. If you choose stability, you may forever wonder what life might have become. had you leapt. If you choose passion, you will live with the loss of what you once called home. Neither road is free, but both carry meaning. And the only true mistake is refusing to choose at all. For Scorpios, born between November 13th and November 22nd, the weight of the decision presses into the very core of your identity. For you will be asked to finally confront the image that others have of you and the secret version of yourself that you have carried quietly within. Perhaps you have played a role for your family, your community, or even your own sense of duty, a role that looks admirable, respectable, or useful. But that role is not the whole truth of who you are. Beneath it lies a self that has always whispered in the background, waiting for the courage to emerge, waiting for the day when the mask would no longer fit. The cruelty here is that both selves are real. The person you have been for others is not a lie. It is simply incomplete. And the person you long to be has been starved by the constant weight of expectation. When the moment arrives, you will be forced to stand between them and admit that you cannot carry both forward. To choose the image is to bury the secret self once again, perhaps forever. To choose the hidden self is to disappoint others, to break the illusion they depended upon, and to face the loneliness of not being understood. This is the choice that will cut most deeply, because it touches not just what you do, but the very shape of your soul. Across all these ranges of birth, the essence remains the same, no matter the form your choice takes. It will ask you to decide who you truly want to become when there is no middle ground left. You will be asked to carry the grief of what you do not choose. And you will be asked to hold the courage of living fully inside what you do choose. The decision will leave scars, but it will also strip away the layers that have kept you divided. It will end the exhausting work of trying to live multiple lives at once. It will clarify your priorities in a way nothing else could. And though you may mourn for what you lose, you will also find in that mourning a strange kind of freedom, the freedom of finally being whole. This is why the end of September is not a punishment, but a passage. Not a cruelty designed to break you, but a fire designed to refine you. You will not emerge unscarred, but you will emerge more true, more real, more entirely yourself. And in time, when the grief has softened, you will look back and understand that the sacrifice you made was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of the life you were always meant to live. The depth of this decision rests not only in the external consequences, but in the way it forces you into a spiritual death and rebirth. This is not a metaphor that softens reality. It is the exact truth of what you will live through. To walk one path, you must allow the other to die. And with it, die the roles you have played to keep others comfortable, the masks you have worn to be accepted, the versions of yourself that once protected you but now suffocate you. It will feel like part of you is being torn away, because it is. But that tearing is not destruction for its own sake. It is the deliberate burning away of everything that no longer belongs to the person you are becoming. This death is painful because you have invested time, loyalty, and love into these identities. You will feel the grief of losing them just as you would grieve a person you loved. There will be days when you wake with the ache of absence, when you replay what might have been had you chosen differently. When regret whispers in your ear, yet beneath the grief, something new will be stirring. It will feel like air moving through a room that has been closed too long, like light reaching into corners where shadows once ruled. The freedom you gain will not come with fireworks. It will come quietly, in the soft realization that you no longer need to fracture yourself to keep going. The ending is not really an ending. It is a purification. Once you have chosen and let the other path fall away, you will notice a strength rising within you that does not come from winning, but from being whole. The clarity that arrives will show you what you stand for without apology. You will walk with fewer people, perhaps. You will carry fewer roles, perhaps. But what remains will be unshakable. This is the freedom of maturity, to know yourself without compromise, to act in alignment with your truth even when it costs you, to hold power, not because others hand it to you, but because it is born from the integrity of your own soul. Scorpio, this is what waits beyond the crossroads. The choice will scar you, but it will also set you free. It will take from you what was false and return to you what is real. And though you may stumble through the grief, you will emerge stronger, clearer, and more fully alive than before, ready to step into the next chapter, not as a divided being, but as the truest version of yourself. And so, as we close this message, remember that the crossroads at the end of September is not meant to break you, but to strip away what no longer belongs, to pull down the old masks and reveal the truth that has always been waiting underneath. You may lose something you love. You may carry scars that never fully fade. But what you gain is a life that is yours without compromise, a soul that no longer bows to expectation, and a strength that rises from the deepest part of who you are. This is not the end of your story, Scorpio. It is the beginning of your rebirth. And though the choice will be painful, it will leave you purified, whole, and ready to step into a future where you are no longer divided. If this message speaks to what you are living now, hold it close, because it is a reminder that even the hardest endings contain the seed of freedom. Subscribe if you wish to continue walking through these transformations together. And carry this with you. You are stronger than the loss, braver than the fear, and truer than the masks you leave behind.